concentrated, extravagant, and decadent, yet also elegant and poised. Sweet wines are often a gamble against nature and require not only patience and nerves of steel, but also experience with the transformation of this nectar into liquid gold. This award honors a wine that strikes that fine balance between sweetness and finesse. The Sweet Wine of the Year Award recognizes a wine that harnesses nature's bounty and gifts in a frame which provides refreshment and detail, bringing you back for another sip despite its intensity. Here are the 3 delectable finalists for Sweet Wine of the Year 2025. Astrolabe, Wrekin Vineyard, Late Harvest Chenin Blanc 2022 from the Southern Valley's Marlborough. A resounding endorsement for Chenin's suitability for these clay slopes formed by glacial outwash yielding golden ripeness and intense complexity. Mondillo, Nina, Late Harvest Riesling 2024 from Bendigo, Central Otago. On the lower terraces of Bendigo, where sparkling schists carved by glacial activity within the Southern Alps and cold continental nights gives intense vibrancy and purity to Riesling. Prophet's Rock, Paille, Pinot Gris 2021, also from Bendigo, Central Otago, dried after picking. In Jura and Hermitage fashion, this intensely decadent Pinot Gris comes from the upper terraces of Bendigo, where schist sits above a seam of pathogenic lime. Let's meet the visionaries behind these extraordinary sweet wines.
Hi, I'm Simon Wrekin. I'm the winemaker and one of the owners of Astrolabe Wines. Winemaking philosophy is largely about trying to nurse the fruit from the Marlborough region, from the various vineyards we have, into the bottle with minimum intervention. I like to be as tuned back as I can be, let the fruit speak for itself, achieve nice balance between the elements of alcohol and acid, sugar, just to make sure the wine is drinkable as it might be in a very refined, elegant styling. In 2022, we had the right conditions to set up a beneficial botrytised infection in the vineyard. It's a special year when that happens. Sometimes any year you can make a dessert wine is a special year, and for me it's usually only once every 4 or 5 years that I think conditions are right. We believe this to be one of those years. These sweeter wines, I think, go nicely with mild blue cheeses and also cheeses like such as a Maasdam or Emmentaler or Gruyere that have got a mild and nutty flavour. It's a great wine to buy if you're looking to entertain at home, if you're presenting maybe a 2 or 3 course meal with your friends, a nice taste of something to finish off with to remember the meal by. And the wines are recognised by outside people, and whenever we get good feedback like that, it makes us all feel pretty good and lets us know that we're on the right track with our house style of winemaking.
Hello, I'm Dominic Mondillo from Mondillo Wines here in sunny Bendigo, Central Otago. The entire team here is extremely proud of the 2024 late harvest Riesling that we call Nina. So in the 2024 vintage, about 60% of this fruit was botrytis affected, and the balance of the fruit that went into it was unaffected by botrytis, which I kind of think of as clean fruit. So consequently, we got some of those lovely flavors from the botrytis, but also a little bit of acidity from the fruit that wasn't affected. So consequently, I think the balance is extremely unique. Even though it has a reasonable high amount of sugar, there's still a touch of acidity there that creates a fabulous balance. We do get botrytis here in Central Otago, even though it's a particularly dry climate. What happens is later in the season we get a lot of fog, and consequently the clusters get wet and then they dry out, get wet and dry out, and the botrytis develops. It's not something that happens every year. We don't make this wine every year, just in seasons that obviously give us that opportunity. I personally enjoy this wine with things like a nice rich liver parfait, prosciutto, salty cheeses, as well as desserts.
My name's Paul Pujol. I'm the winemaker here at Prophet's Rock in Central Otago, New Zealand. Prophets Rock is a small producer. We have 3 stunning sites, and in terms of philosophy, I really want to showcase those vineyards. They're amazingly beautiful. They are our only unique asset. So in terms of how we handle them in the winery, winemaking is very gentle and we try and be unobtrusive. I'm not looking for a strong house style or winemaking signature on the wines. I'm just hoping to capture those sides and reflect them accurately in the glass. The Prophets Rock Van de Paille. This is a wine with a lot of story behind it. It's a very ancient way of making concentrated sweet wines. The grapes are picked at optimal ripeness. You want that lovely balance of flavour and acidity. In this case, it's from a small parcel of Pinot Gris that's at high elevation on the Rocky Point Vineyard. It's picked onto trays, and then we stack those trays up and we leave them to dry naturally with a lot of hand sorting along the way to make sure the fruit stays in pristine condition. We then press them and get a tiny amount of juice that's very, very concentrated. And the very sweet juice then takes a very long time to ferment. And what you end up with is a tiny amount of wine that has this amazing concentration that's very, very pure. It still reminds me of the table wine from that parcel, but almost like looking at it through a magnifying glass. So it's a very rewarding wine to make. Drinking this wine is always a rare event. We only make 1 barrel, and so the most important thing is to make sure you're drinking it in good company. This style of wine pairs amazingly with cheeses. It's definitely not scared of strong cheeses either.